Tyler Fingert, who is live for us now, live in Dalton with more on the operation and what we learned from a recent press conference. Tyler?
Yeah, Elise, good morning to you. 11 people now face criminal charges after a child sex crimes undercover operation just a short time ago. We just got to hear from the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office and the GBI here at that Sheriff's Office. Again, that happened a short time ago where they announced this bust. This all comes after an undercover sting called Operation Hook, which stands for Hands Off Our Kids. The Whitfield County Sheriff's Office worked with the Georgia Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force. This multi-day operation, which ran from Thursday until yesterday, resulted in 11 arrests on numerous charges, including human trafficking. The goal of the operation, they say, was to identify people who engage in sexually explicit communication with children, then arrange to meet the child, and then actually travel to meet them. Investigators say they also went after people who are willing to pay to be with a child. We're told they were able to find the 11 men who were on the prowl using social media sites, messaging apps, and dating apps. The people arrested range in age from 24 to 36 years old. 2 of them were sex offenders, and 1 of them was here in the U.S. illegally. Officials say so far this year there have been more than 38,000 child exploitation cyber tips received in the state of Georgia, and investigators say stings like this are important to be proactive instead of reactive to be able to protect kids. Take a listen to what people involved in this sting had to say.
It's a problem everywhere, but we want to be proactive. We don't want these kids to become victims. That's why we're taking this approach to get them before they attack our children.
Anytime you do something in law enforcement, like an operation like this, whether it be for child exploitation or any other type of crime that's going on, anytime you are in the community and doing arrests and takedowns and things that are inherently dangerous, it takes a good, professional, quality law enforcement officer to do that safely and effectively. And I can tell you here today, we had that crew on this operation. I'm very, very impressed with the partners we have with the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office and all of the 14 agencies that were represented here this weekend for Operation Hook. I'm very humbled to be part of this, and I think it needs to be said that they were able to effect each and every one of these arrests safely without doing a significant impact to the community.
Yeah, the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office says it is important to do things like this to protect kids in this community and to make sure that they, again, are being proactive instead of reactive and be able to get people off the streets before they maybe actually are able to go after children. Elise?
Yeah, I heard you say 11 arrests made, so job well done to the Sheriff's Office there and the GBI working together to make all this happen. So, Tyler, thank you so much for bringing us this story, some really important information for us, so we appreciate it. All right, switching gears now, we want to take you to Henry County, and that is where the man accused in a double murder was arrested overnight. Henry County police took 25-year-old Stephen Mathis into custody. They're telling us around midnight, so our Mark Teichner has been on top of the story, and he has the very latest.
Stephen Christopher Mathis's time as a man on the run did not last long. Within hours of being named a suspect, he was already in custody.
Stephen Christopher Mathis is behind bars. The 25-year-old was arrested overnight. DeKalb County police call him the trigger man in Monday night's deadly domestic shooting that claimed the lives of a man and woman. Between 7:30 and 8, officers responded to the East Perimeter Point Apartments, which are located near the Panola Road I-20 exit. That's where they found the victims already dead inside one of the units. The names and ages of the victims haven't been released, nor have we been told if either or both might have lived in the apartment. It didn't take long for detectives to ID Mathis as the suspect in the killings. Within hours, they'd already released a photo of him. While investigators call the double murder domestic in nature, they didn't go into any details about Mathis's possible relationship with either victim. Mathis was originally thought to be driving a black Jeep. Around midnight, he was arrested by Henry County Police and then transported back to DeKalb County, where he was booked into the jail.
Mathis facing charges of malice murder as well as felony theft by taking. Now, we haven't been given an update about how this arrest took place. Was he in that black Jeep or not when Henry County Police managed to get him? If we do get an update about the arrest, more information about the victims, we'll let you know. Reporting from DeKalb County Police Headquarters, I'm Mark Teichner, Fox 5 News.
It's 11:06 now, and the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia is asking for more time to appoint a new attorney that would be needed to take over that election interference case that all dates back to the 2020 election. This case against President Donald Trump and 14 co-defendants, again saying they need more time in order to find someone to take this case on. So our Caitlin Pratt has a breakdown of what this all means.
The election interference case has been in limbo for quite some time, but now stands the chance of being dismissed altogether if a new prosecutor can't be found, and quickly. The clock is ticking. The Fulton County election interference case against President Donald Trump and others could be dropped unless a state agency gets an extension. Friday, Judge Scott McAfee gave the Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council 14 days to find a new attorney to take the case, or else he would dismiss it. The council said in a court filing in response, it needs at least 90 days since their office has yet to receive the physical case file, and because of its size, won't for about 4 weeks. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis used the state's anti-racketeering law to allege a wide-ranging conspiracy to try to illegally overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. But DA Willis was removed from the case over the appearance of impropriety related to her romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, whom she hired. The council's executive director telling Fox 5 last month, finding a new neutral prosecutor won't be an easy task.
We always want to try to look for someone who is close to the venue. In this case, it would be Fulton County. We also try to look for someone who has the resources and the staff that can handle the type of case that's coming down the line.
If a new prosecutor is named, that person could continue on the same avenue as Willis, decide to pursue only some charges, or dismiss the case altogether. So the question is, will that request for a 90-day extension be granted or not? Well, we'll let you know. That's the latest here outside the Fulton County Courthouse. I'm Caitlin Pratt, Fox 5 News.
Well, we are talking winter blues this morning as we're just now into fall, but looking ahead to what we can expect in the winter. So our bodies can sense the change in light, which is pretty interesting as the dark winter months approach. And that can affect your mood, how you're feeling, all kinds of things. It's called seasonal affective disorder. So earlier this morning, I spoke with Fox Medical Team's Dr. Mike Sirigliano, and he has some tips to help us avoid this.
All right, check this out. This is a white light that's got a lot of lux, not flux capacity, all right, lux. And that is the amount of light coming in. It's the right kind of light. And studies have shown that if you do this for 20 minutes or so, up to about an hour every single day, hopefully at the same time, you can stead off this condition known as seasonal affective disorder. Now, when it comes to seasonal affective disorder, it affects about 10% of the population, and now is when it starts to happen. The days are getting shorter, the amount of sunlight is less, and it will get worse until the springtime when the light, you know, after what is it, December 21st. That's the shortest day of the year, and then I think it gets longer after that. So that's the idea. You want to try to do that. If that doesn't work, there are ways to do therapy and medications if need be, but I got that on Amazon, $40. Not that expensive, and something that everybody, if you have a loved one, might be something to invest in.
Yeah, you know, I'm curious. I want to go back to what you said about that being the good kind of light. So is there a bad kind, a kind that we need to be avoiding, or what do we need to be looking for when it comes to that?
Yeah, well, this kind of light, you know, especially at night.
Oh, gotcha.
It's really not conducive to help you sleep. It's got to be the right kind of light with the spectrum of light that's been studied, as opposed to now. If you have the time, you know what else you can do? You can go out in the sun and get sunlight that way. But as the winter comes, it gets cold down there like it does here, and you want to be, you might not want to stand out in the cold for an hour.
Right.
So
I think you're right.
You know.
You're right about that. So somehow get the light, whether it's from being outside or from what you showed us. You know, I think it's so important you're talking about this because I feel like so many of us joke, you know, it's getting dark, and but this is a real thing. This seasonal affective disorder, and Dr. Mike, it affects a lot of people too, right?
About 10% of the population. Now, if you ask my wife, I can be irritable even in July. But you know, if you start to find yourself a little more irritable and not as fun, and you're a little down and you want to sleep more, you may have it. And then forget the whole time change thing.
Oh,
That's
goodness.
a nightmare from hell.
Yeah.
All right. I want to ban that. I don't know why we're doing it, but
it's
whatever.
terrible,
That's
isn't
another
it?
story.
It's terrible. I know that's another topic that I'm sure we'll get to when it gets closer to time. But yeah, there's that on top of all of this that we have to contend with. But Dr. Mike helping us out, helping us to hopefully avoid the winter blues on this Tuesday. We sure appreciate you, Dr. Mike. Thank you so much.
Hey, watch that Halloween candy. Don't be eating it until Halloween.
Yes, sir. You got it. Calling us out this morning. Well, still ahead for you, we are exposing home title theft. We have a very important alert for homeowners next. All right, so welcome back, everyone. Our time is 11:14 now. We're glad you're streaming with us. Let's get to this, some really important information for all you homeowners out there. You've spent years paying down your mortgage, putting lots of money towards that, and then one day it's gone, completely stolen in what's called home title theft. It's a very real thing, and it's impacted a lot of Americans. So we have former FBI Special Agent Tom Simon joining us now to talk more about this and hopefully help us to avoid it. So, Tom, good morning, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, I'm intrigued by this. This is something you hear about, but maybe don't know the inner workings of how they're able to pull this off time and time again. So let's start with that. How easy is it to steal someone's home, essentially?
It's staggeringly easy. I was sort of shocked when I first started seeing these cases during my career as an FBI special agent. What basically people can do is bad guys, criminals, can file a deed with your county clerk's office, transferring ownership of your home out of your name and into the name of the bad guy or in the name of a synthetic identity created by the bad guy. Now, what the bad guy does then is they get a loan on your home using it as collateral, and they have no intention of paying that back. And you won't even know this occurred until the foreclosure notices start arriving in the mail.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so to be clear and to make sure I'm understanding this, you're saying that while you're living in your home, someone can take a loan out on it?
Absolutely. They're transferring ownership of the home to themselves or to a fake name first, right? And then it's just a matter of creating the documents and bringing them to the county clerk's office, either in person or electronically. It's important to remember that the county clerk is not verifying the authenticity of these deeds transferring title ownership over to someone else. Their job's just to record the deed in the public record, and that's the weak link in the chain.
So let me ask you this. What makes someone a prime victim for someone to take advantage of them and to take out, to do this to them, this home title theft? What makes someone a good victim?
I've seen a lot of people out there who are elderly or vulnerable in some way becoming victims, but honestly, I would argue, and I've seen it myself, that anyone who has equity in their home is a potential victim of this crime. For most Americans, myself included, your home equity is probably your largest single asset, and so you got to monitor your home title because there's no one watching the store at the county clerk's office.
So, Tom, you spent 26 years in the FBI investigating financial crimes. This is something that's not new to you. You've seen this time and time again. But what makes this type of fraud so difficult to catch?
Because the people don't even need to set foot inside the county clerk's office. Ever since COVID, a lot of these processes have gone online. So a bad guy can literally sit in their own living room or their mom's basement and transfer the ownership of your home from you to someone else without even needing to face a county clerk face to face.
Do you have any numbers for us, or just maybe you can paint a picture on how common that this is, how widespread that you're seeing this crime take place, Tom?
The problem is that home title theft is not a crime that's defined in most state or federal statutes. And so they end up getting charged using the mail fraud, the wire fraud, or the money laundering statutes. And so there's not great figures for that. I know it's an underreported crime, and I consult with a company called Home Title Lock that helps people protect themselves from this crime. And so I found lots and lots of cases in the court files that we are seeing this is increasing over time.
It's terrible. I mean, you talk about someone spending years paying into their mortgage, paying off their mortgage, and to then be scammed in this way. I mean, that is financially devastating, no doubt, if it's something that happens to you. But I want to talk more about what you're talking about at the courthouse. You mentioned that there's not a ton of oversight when it comes to, what the clerks are seeing there. So are there any safeguards, things that we can do to prevent this from happening to us?
The trick is to monitor the status of your home title on the county clerk's website. The problem is you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to do that 24/7. So that's why I endorse a product called Home Title Lock that has a triple lock home protection. What they're going to do is they're going to monitor the status of your home title for you. They're going to notify you if something goes wrong. And if that title is transferred out of your name, they're going to spend up to $1 million in fees to restore that back into your good name.
So one of the things you mentioned, Tom, is that victims often don't realize this has happened to them until it's too late. So give us a more in-depth look at that. I mean, that makes all of this even worse, is that you don't even realize you've been victimized until it's already happened.
Absolutely. Because again, you're not receiving the money and you're not really receiving the notifications from the county clerk of this transfer. And so what happens is months later, after the bad guy has not paid the loan that they've taken out using your home as collateral, you begin getting foreclosure notices. And for most people who don't have a product like Home Title Lock, that's the first time they realize they have a problem. And often it's too late. They're going to spend $1 million themselves on legal fees trying to get this mess unwound.
So, Tom, you mentioned there's a product, there's a service you can subscribe to, or a product to have to, keep something like this from happening to you. So give us the name of that one more time. And then are there any other things that we can do to protect ourselves?
Again, I think the monitoring is the key thing, and then the notification. And I recommend Home Title Lock. They've been doing this for years, and they're very good at what they do. The other thing, too, is that it's so expensive, if this happens, for the crime victims to try to get this home back into their name, and Home Title Lock takes that burden off your shoulders. It may not happen to you, but it's like having a smoke detector in your house. You hope that it never goes off because of a fire, but you sleep better knowing it's there.
Yeah, want to be protected. So, you're an interesting guy. You talk about someone who spent 26 years in the FBI's special agent. I can only imagine the stories that you have to tell. So give us a look at what you're doing now. I mean, what's the career that you're following these days, Tom?
Sure, I'm a licensed. I'm basically a CPA with a gun, right? So my time during the FBI was 26 years investigating fraud, and now I'm a private investigator working in all 50 states investigating fraud like home title theft, investment frauds, embezzlement, things like that. And so it's fun work, but it's not necessarily movie of the week kind of swashbuckling stuff. It's financial crimes. They hire nerds like me for that reason.
Well, hey, we're certainly glad that they do, especially you taking the time to check in with us and hopefully help us prevent something like this from happening to us, to our loved ones, because this is a concerning one, no doubt. So, Tom, thank you so much for checking in with us and hopefully helping us avoid becoming a victim.
Thank you so much for having me on.
We appreciate you. All right, let's turn to some stories that we're following for you this morning. Of course, we know about the government shutdown. Of course, we're following that as we take a live look now at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And we're doing that because starting this weekend, some of the airport's employees will receive support during this government shutdown, help in the form of meals and in the form of free parking as well, which no doubt will go a long way in these times where they're working but not getting paid. So TSA full-time workers, you may not know this, they're still expected to go into work and to do their job. But here's what this will offer them. It's 2 free meal vouchers per day for those who are full-time, and also part-time workers will receive 1 of those meal vouchers just to help them get by during the shutdown. We're told that free parking will also be available to them as well, to these TSA workers during their scheduled hours, which will no doubt help as well. So the efforts being led, we're told, by Congresswoman Nikema Williams and Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, who say that they just want to ease the burden during this shutdown. So some important info there for TSA workers who find themselves impacted right now. Also, some news from Metro Atlanta. A police officer in Metro Atlanta is out of a job, and others are under investigation after police are saying that a woman was mauled to death by a pack of dogs. 62-year-old Donna Wynn was walking home from the bank when she was attacked by 5 unleashed dogs on Lakeside Drive in Union City. And you may remember this story because this happened back in August. We covered this extensively. We spoke with family members who just detailed how difficult of a time this was for them. And of course, just to see their mom in the kind of shape that she was in, her injuries so severe, they led to an infection. Grady doctors said that they'd have to amputate her arms, but 2 weeks later, Donna Wynn passed away. So officers removed those 5 dogs from the property. 4 have since been euthanized. Donna's sons are saying that's not enough. They want to see more that's happening. They want those responsible to be held accountable. So still not exactly clear what role that the fired officer played in all of this, but we did hear from law enforcement that that part of the investigation includes reviewing the response of the Union City Police Department and Lifeline Animal Services as well. So you can bet this is a story that we'll stay on top of and keep you posted on what we learned. And now to this, a former Atlanta cheer coach is being hit with a lawsuit. He's also facing several charges, including child exploitation of a minor. The suit was filed for several victims who say Charles Moore III sexually assaulted him. That's who you're seeing there on your screen right now. So a 117-page civil complaint claims that it happened over a period of years and that Moore's employers failed to protect the victims or to report suspicious behavior to authorities. So Moore was first arrested last year. He faces several charges ranging from sexual contact to a minor, from a person in a position of trust, sexual exploitation of a child, providing drugs to a minor, in addition to molestation charges happening there as well. So our time now is 11:24. Let's take a live look at the White House, where not a lot of information, but we do know that Canadian Prime Minister is set to meet with President Trump today. So we will keep an eye on this, let you know what comes of this meeting, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from someone there at the White House, perhaps President Trump as well, with an update on what happens at that meeting. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're happy to have you with us on this Tuesday. Let's get you caught up on the forecast now. And just some news weather-wise. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy is joining us now with the check of that. What's going on?
Fresh from the Atlantic, we now have Tropical Storm Jerry.
Oh.
As we go through this week, we'll keep a close eye on this storm. But as we take out the list, we're making our way through the Atlantic hurricane season. And you can see here, we've gone through the first 1/3 of the list. Humberto and Imelda checked off just over the past couple of weeks. And now we have Jerry on our hands. So let's go ahead and examine what we have here. We have a storm that's still about 1,000 miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles, but it's kicking out sustained winds at 45 miles an hour, which safely makes it a tropical storm. And it is moving to the west at a pretty steady clip of nearly 25 miles an hour. So all eyes are on Jerry over the next 5 to 7 day period. As you can see here, the National Hurricane Center has released its first cone forecast. And there are a couple things I want to point out here. The cone likely is going to stay within the bounds of the water, but the outer fringes come a bit too close for comfort for the greater Antilles. You can see the island of Guadeloupe there. We'll have to just watch it. It will be a hurricane within the next 72-hour period. Expected to maintain its status as a Cat 1 storm as it climbs to the north and nears the island of Bermuda. A direct landfall at this point, based on the latest cone forecast, is not expected for any landmass, whether it be island or even the eastern seaboard of the United States. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we'll have to see exactly how things work inland to see how far to the east it's going to stay. Obviously, it looks like the bruised and battered Bermuda is definitely in line to get at least some gusty winds and some rain, but there's still a few days off. Interestingly enough, our in-house model, our exclusive Fox weather model, wants to pull an organized storm over the island of Puerto Rico. Okay, so Barbados there, Guadeloupe, and now look. Eek. That's sometime Friday going into Saturday. I don't like the way that model is trending. The spaghetti plots once again put the storm collectively a little bit further to the north where it misses that U.S. territory. But nonetheless, if you have interest in Puerto Rico, perhaps traveling there, you got to keep an eye on that. So continue to check back and we will continue to update the situation there, which hopefully will continue once again to stay there and not make gains and move further to the east or to the west. Yeah.
So Jerry, here we go.
Jerry, here we go.
Yeah. How are we doing as far as past hurricane season? Are we right on track as far as us crossing these storms off the list?
We are on track. So I like to use Michael is my indicator. Michael, if you recall, hit in mid-October of 2018 or 17, correct me if I'm wrong there. And that definitely is where we should be for names, M's, in October.
Okay.
So we're on par, but we're running a bit late. I don't think we can get through our, other few names that quickly. If I can go back here to the list. So maybe a bit behind. We were on par as we went out of the month of September. But Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa. So if we get some storms that kind of start to line up, and we can take a look at our satellite imagery here. It's kind of hard for me to sometimes zoom out on this product here based on where we're at. Can I get all the way out into the Atlantic, Elise? You think so?
I think you can do it.
Oh, look at me. I'm traveling. I'm traveling out in space. Okay.
That is pretty cool, Doug.
Yeah, it is. We got some text and specs around here, but you need some satellite imagery to go with it. So I'll see if I can get anything there. Okay, so you can obviously tell which one is Jerry there. It's a bit more organized in nature. You can bring my cursor to it. So
right there.
You look off the coast of Africa and you say, is there something else? Well, yeah, I'm going to zoom around here. Yeah, there is something else that we can possibly tap into. Let's see how fancy I can get.
I know, and on the spot, too. I mean, this
we're just trying out to see how things work around here. So I don't see that much convection blowing off the continent of Africa there, off its west coast. But nonetheless, these things can blow up at any point in time, given the water temperature. You just need some storms to come off. People have been asking me, all right, what's going on with this hurricane season? I think the storms, they're developing and they're strengthening. We're seeing hurricanes, but basically the position of the Bermuda High, which is a high pressure system that stakes its claim out over the central waters of the Atlantic, has not shifted much.
Okay.
It's basically stayed in the same position, and with its positioning being right where it is, it allows enough space between its westernmost fringe and the east coast of the United States for storms to pass by without bothering our landmass.
Okay, so that's what we've been seeing.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing here.
So let's bring it a little closer to home for those of us wondering what we can expect weather-wise. I got to tell you, yesterday was a pretty dark day. Today has seemed pretty dark.
Yeah, it's copying yesterday's vibes, but hopefully we can change up the mood pretty quickly here. Temperatures are already outperforming their growth yesterday, so we're at 73 degrees here in Atlanta. Look for highs to grow by about 10 more degrees. We should likely reach a high of 85 before the day's all said and done. And believe it or not, I think we can see some sunshine before the sun goes away at an early 7:14. So that said, don't get used to the sunshine, even if it does break out in your neck of the woods today. A cold front's coming to town tomorrow, so we'll start off the day with some showers. We'll likely be tracking a few showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two here tomorrow during the 11 o'clock hour. We'll push the front through. The front does not take away the clouds, so I think the clouds will be a common occurrence even into Thursday. Hopefully by Friday we can recover some sunshine, dry conditions, and that should take us into what is going to be an absolutely incredibly, wonderfully amazing weekend. And that's all I care about.
Very nice. And you know what? That's a perfect looking weekend for something special that's happening in Ellijay.
It is.
Right? Yes, the Ellijay Lions Club Fairgrounds is going to be the place to be if you like apples or cider or wine or any of that.
Something with apples in it.
Any of those things.
Apple
right?
cider donuts.
There we go. Oh, that sounds so good right now. So Paul Milliken actually went this morning to check out. Give us a sneak peek, a look ahead.
Well, it is the best time of the year up in Gilmer County. It's Apple Festival season. It's back this weekend and next weekend. That means there will be thousands and thousands of people from all over the country who are here to enjoy the Apple capital of Georgia. And when they're here, along with celebrating at the fairgrounds where the main festival is, one of my favorites, one that we have literally watched grow up, and that is Reese's Cider Company, hanging out with Tanner Reese. Speaking of growing up, so across the street is BJ Reese Orchard, right? So that's who started that.
My grandpa BJ, he started that back in the 60s. He built the store in about 1970.
Yeah. So you're now third generation of Reese that's part of this business. You just grew up surrounded by apples, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I've been in the orchard since as long as I can remember.
Did they put you to work when you were a little kid?
Oh, yeah.
Of course they did, yeah. And then what's very cool is that you decided a couple of years ago, let's try something else along with doing what we do best, and you created Reese's Cider Company. So where did the idea come from?
I think just, working at the orchard every day and customers always asking for hard cider.
Yeah,
because like other orchards in other areas were making hard cider. So I think once we had enough people ask, I just decided to start planning for that.
It's time to do it. So you opened this beautiful facility right across the street. And you said before, you do everything here on site, right?
Yes, we press every apple here, do all the fermentations, all the finishing, filtering. So 100% of the process is done right back there.
Yeah, can I ask, do you use different kinds of apples for different kinds of ciders? Or is there one kind of apple that sort of works for all cider?
So we have a couple ciders that we'll use specific apples for, but for the majority, it's just a big blend. So there's like 20 different varieties that are just mixed in every time.
Yeah.
And as long as we have a good mixture, then that's all we care about. So normally we won't use one variety because it can just taste kind of off.
Okay.
So we like to have a blend in there for most of the ciders.
And thankfully, again, you're surrounded by apples, so that makes it easy. So what is Apple Festival weekend like for you? You've got two of them, this weekend, next weekend. What is your life like the next 2 weekends?
It's huge. Just kind of everybody like scrambling around every day. Lines out the door. It's crazy, but it's the best time of the year for us.
I mean, you really get to show off what you do to so many people. So let's talk about the ciders again. you've poured a flight here. Now, I don't want anyone watching to judge that this one's a little bit lower than the rest. Yes, I've been drinking already because that one is my favorite, but we'll start with this one here.
Yeah. So this is like our first cider that we ever made, the original cider, LJ Apple. It's just a semi-dry hard cider. The poppies is kind of like the sweeter version of that. So that's just our sweet cider.
Who is that named for, by the way? Who's Poppy?
That was my grandpa on my other side that passed away, but he always made like real super sweet wine. So we named that one after him.
Oh, that's very cool. Carry on his legacy. And then my favorite.
The apple pie, which has mulling spices that we heat up. And it just kind of tastes like you're drinking an apple pie.
It really does. It is so good. And then Frostbite.
Frostbite is our #1 seller by far. It's blackberry, so it's semi-sweet. You don't really meet many people that don't like that.
No, it goes down very smooth and very quick. This is one where you probably got to watch yourself a little bit, right? Because it'd be easy to drink a few of these.
Yeah, for sure.
It is so good. And let's talk quickly, too. So you've got the production facility back there. You've got all the taps up here. And, of course, you serve your product. But then what is out these doors right here?
So we have 7,000 square feet of covered seating and then also a patio area.
Yeah, can we walk out and check it out real quick?
Yeah.
So this is, again, this wasn't here the last time we came. And of course, you're not open yet, so that's why there's chairs up and things like that. But what an incredible gathering space you have out here. This is huge.
Yeah, so this is like mostly seating, but we also have another bar outside. So on the busy days, we have taps out here.
So that's useful during the Georgia Apple Festival.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Wow, this is great out here. You've got the lawn area. Must be fun just to watch families hanging out on a weekend, enjoying what you guys do.
Yeah, we have cornhole. We have some games for kids.
Yeah.
So people bring the whole family and stay for a while.
This is very cool. Again, when we came here like 3 or 4 years ago, none of this stuff I don't think was here yet. It was really just the big open room. So congrats on everything. I know people love it up here because I've heard from many friends that have been up. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome to see you. And again, right across the street right there, there's BJ Reese Orchard. So of course, if you want to actually get your apples and some apple treats, all you have to do is cross the street. Also a bunch of pumpkins over there if you haven't got your pumpkin yet for Halloween. So it is Georgia Apple Festival time. Again, it's happening this weekend and next weekend. The main festival over at the fairgrounds, but of course businesses throughout the area are going to be hopping this weekend. So happy Apple Festival.
A good time will be had, no doubt. Paul Milliken live for us. Paul,
well, it is the best time of the year up in Gilmer County. It's Apple Festival season. It's back this weekend and next weekend. That means there will be thousands and thousands.
All right, we'll be right back. Stick around. Welcome back, everyone. All right, we've all had those days where you just feel out of it, out of sync, low energy, stress, just off is the best way to describe that. But what if the secret to getting back in balance isn't just about what you eat or the supplements that you take, but it's about your body's energy field? If you're like me, you're wondering, what on earth is that? Is that a real thing? But this morning we have integrative pharmacist Dr. Swathi Varanasi-Diaz joining us with how to avoid fall fatigue. So Dr. Swathi, thank you so much for being on with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, first, you have to explain the difference between a pharmacist and an integrative pharmacist. What is it about what you do? Because it's different. So what is it about what you do that sets you apart from others?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I did my residency or my postdoctoral training in integrative medicine. So I specifically focused in other modalities of health, healing, and wellness. So while I did go to pharmacy school and I have my conventional pharmacy licensure, in addition to that, I kind of focus on, what can we do to increase quality of life, whether that is a combination of prescription medications and supplements and lifestyle modifications, or sometimes it's just the latter. It really depends the patient.
So let's dive into this. I mean, we hear so much about good vibes. I feel like that's something that's thrown around that we hear about a lot. So is there actual science behind that?
Yeah, there is. So vibes are just everyday language for talking about energy frequencies. So everything, whether it's you, me, your phone, or even your morning coffee, all of those things emit measurable vibrations. So science can actually capture these with tools like spectroscopy and evaluate them to demonstrate that there is more to vibes than, we think, and it actually is science-backed.
Yeah, it kind of puts it into perspective now, right? A term that we throw around a lot, knowing that there's real ramifications for what that does to our health is pretty interesting. So are there any signs, Dr. Swathi, that our energy field could be off?
Yeah, so if you're feeling ongoing stress, if you're maybe not getting the right amount of sleep, if you're spending too much time looking at your screen, whether that's your TV or your phone, and if you're staying indoors for too long or even surrounding yourselves with negative people.
So how might we be feeling? We mentioned at the very top just feeling out of sync and not quite feeling like ourselves, but are there any other indicators that might give us a glimpse or just an idea that something's not quite right?
Yeah, so your energy field might be off if you feel like your energy is off. So if you're feeling drained no matter what, if you're not sleeping as well as you'd like to or not enough, if you're getting sick more often, or even if you're noticing mood swings that you can't explain.
Interesting. Okay, so this is a multi-part question that I want to make sure we hit all of these points, Dr. Swathi. Talk to us more about energy wellness. So we have that part of it. Is there an official name for the approach? And then where can we go for those of us who've maybe never heard about this and just want to read up and just learn a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so there is an emerging field called quantum Ayurveda. So you might have heard of traditional Ayurveda that focuses on herbs, diet, and lifestyle to balance the body. But quantum Ayurveda takes it to the next step and infusing it with a modern twist. So it incorporates the same idea of herbs, diet, and lifestyle, but then also incorporates energy frequencies of plants and how we can match them to our body's own energetic patterns. One leader in this space is Green Space Herbs, and they're the ones actually who put the name to quantum Ayurveda, and they're pioneering research to make it more widely accessible. So if you're interested in learning more, you can go to greenspaceherbs.com, where you can follow along with all the research and development, and honestly, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It really does. So for those of us just, wanting to maybe implement some things into our lives to help find some balance and to try to avoid this fall fatigue that we're talking about, are there any practical everyday ways that we can retune our body's energy?
Yeah, so you can influence your energy field daily with simple habits that actually cost nothing. So the first one is movement. So that could be stretching, that could be walking around the block, and it's really thinking about how to release stuck energy. So that's one of the aspects that really helps. The next one is, thinking about breathing. That could be breathing, a few minutes between your Zoom meetings, or even breathing when you're in line about to check out at the grocery store. It's just taking those moments to reset reset your nervous system that can really start to make the difference once you incorporate it into your day. And then the other thing is sunlight exposure. So sunlight exposure has actually been shown to recharge your body's natural rhythm. So these are just some of the things that we can think about in our daily that can just make so much of a difference.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I mean, do you find that you're met with some pushback when you talk about these things? Because we mentioned, at the top, this is a little bit different than so much of what we hear. So do you find that people are receptive to it, or do you find that you're getting a little bit of pushback?
That's an interesting question. So it really depends the person, but I would say once I start talking about it with these simple habits, I think people can really already realize that, oh, wow, I'm already taking a walk every day, or maybe that's something I've been wanting to do, or maybe I should take that moment to take the extra breath in and out, or instead of taking this meeting inside, maybe I can, go outside and do that. So it starts off with maybe a little bit of that pushback, but then people come around and realize that, wow, these simple habits are not that complicated.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. So I saw you on YouTube. It looked like you had a podcast or just episodes where you're doing, all kinds of in-depth discussions on medical topics. So can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to learn more, you can definitely check out YouTube, but probably the best place to learn a little bit more about this energy wellness and frequency first health, which is one of the things that I refer to it as, is really thinking about this personalization of medicine, not only with prescriptions and other lifestyle modifications, but also taking into account energy. I would say one of the best places you could go is greenspaceherbs.com, or check out Greenspace Herbs on Instagram.
All right, Dr. Swati Varanasi-Diaz, thank you so much for checking in with us today and helping this make quite a bit more sense. We certainly appreciate it as we get a little bit deeper into fall, Dr. Swati. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right, we want to take you somewhere exciting, an event that's happening here in town. You may remember her as Tyler Perry's Miss Governor, but so many of us remember her as Levita Alizé Jenkins Robinson's from the Steve Harvey Show. So she is at the Clayton County Performing Arts Center for a very special reason. She's hosting a behind the scenes in careers class. This is for 50 Mount Zion school students, and it's all a part of a special program that they have going there. It's called Circle of Sisterhood Cinderella program. So you can imagine this is a really big day for those who are in attendance and for those being impacted by this program as well. So the kids will get to just pick her brain, get to talk to her and learn a little bit about her career and some advice for them. So up on the screen a little bit earlier, I saw it looked like she was talking. I don't know, we might have missed that just a little bit, but let's tune in and just listen in to see what's happening there now.
That's okay. Go ahead and have a seat. I see you already passed. That's fine. Well, for the most part, you do an outstanding job. You're a team player. You're a problem solver.
Oh, I almost forgot. I got you some sweet and lows. I know how you like to put that in your car. Miss Boss Lady Sister Girlfriend.
Oh. Well, thank you. Well, anyway, like I was saying, you do a wonderful job, but there is something that I need to discuss.
What you mean, Boss Lady?
It's about your performance here in the office. How can I say this? You and Cedric, the behavior is demonstrative.
I see.
I don't think so. What I'm trying to say is, your behavior is just inappropriate in the workplace. And you have a problem with being on time.
Well, I guess you've done that.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to feel some kind of way about it, Levita, because you're overall, you're a good person, you're a good worker, but we just cannot have this in the workplace.
Well, so you're saying other than the fact that I'm a late loser?
Oh, Levita, now see, now you're overreacting, and nobody say anything about you being a loser. Late, but nothing about it. All right?
Fine. Thank you for my evaluation, Miss Greer. I'm gonna need those sweet and lows back because that's not my job description. Stealing for you.
All right, right, if you're just joining us, what's happening there is a really cool event that's happening at Mount Zion High School. Again, actually, this is the Clayton County Performing Arts Center, but it's for Mount Zion High School students. So a little bit earlier, Tyler Perry, a character who we've seen several times on many of Tyler Perry's projects, actress Terry J. Vaughn is there. It was answering questions and making this all about the students there, those 50 students who were able to gather, get to pick her brain, learn about the industry, get some of their questions answered. And it looks like what we were just tuning into was a theatrical part of it, and you heard it met with wild applause as well. So this is a big day for those students who we can see the back of their heads, we see the stage, and no doubt this is something that they've been looking forward to a while. But if you're wondering what it's for, it's this behind the scenes in careers event. Again, for those 50 students, it's part of the Circle of Sisterhood Cinderella program, which is just making talented actresses available for those students to be able to learn from them. And it looks like they're gathering there on stage, and just good to see that some good stuff is happening there in Clayton County. All right, well, still ahead for you this morning, we are going to take another look at the White House. This is where President Trump is set to meet with the Canadian Prime Minister. So on the other side of the break, we'll have a look at what today's meeting is all about. Stick around. Trump is walking out right now. Okay. Awesome. Oh, this is good. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Taking this live look now at the White House, you see President Trump. The goal today, meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister in the Oval Office. So that should be a big day. We'll see what comes of this. Again, that is Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meeting with President Trump at the White House. So this is after months of negotiations. There could be all kinds of new developments that come from this. So looking forward to hearing what President Trump has to say about this. I imagine we'll hear from him soon from the Oval Office about what's expected today with this meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. So we will be sure to follow that, keep you updated on what comes from that meeting. Of course, we do find ourselves in the middle of a government shutdown, taking a live look now at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So what you might not know is TSA workers are required to show up to work even though they're not getting paid. So in order to give them just a little bit of relief, the world's busiest airport is showing them a sign of appreciation in, offering food vouchers for them. Full-time workers get 2 of those food vouchers a day. Part-time workers get 1 of those. Also free parking on top of that as well. Again, as they are required to show up to work, even though they're not getting a paycheck with us in this government shutdown. So this relief is being offered by Congresswoman Nikema Williams and Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens as well, just saying they want to say thank you, try to ease the burden to these TSA workers who are doing an essential job despite the ourselves in this government shutdown. So, all right, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. More news and weather headed your way at noon. Take care.
Now at noon, police find a brother and sister shot to death. Now the man wanted for the deadly double shooting is behind bars. And state prosecutors seek an extension to appoint a new prosecutor for President Trump's election interference case.
And a new storm is brewing in the tropics. I'm tracking Jerry next in my Fox 5 Storm Team forecast.
Fox 5 News at noon starts right now.
The Whitfield County Sheriff's Office and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation have wrapped up a 5-day undercover operation targeting child sex crimes. Thank you so much for joining us for your afternoon news. I'm Alex Whitler. A news conference happened just this morning at the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office. Many of you know that's in Dalton, and that's where we find Fox 5's Tyler Finger live with the very latest. Tyler, what did authorities have to say?
Well, Alex, good afternoon to you. 11 people now face criminal charges after a child sex crimes undercover operation. The big bust was announced here at the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office this morning. I want to take you inside and show you this news conference that unfolded at about 10 a.m. this morning. This all comes after an undercover sting called Operation Hook, which stands for Hands Off Our Kids. It was led by the GBI, the Georgia Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force, and the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office. The multi-day undercover sting in Whitfield County went after what investigators say is a disturbing crime: adults using the internet to lure children into sex acts. Law enforcement posed as minors on social media, dating apps, and even messaging apps. Investigators say the suspects didn't just chat. Some shared explicit content and arranged meetings. In all, 11 arrests were made on numerous charges. 2 of them were sex offenders, and 1 of them was here in the U.S. illegally. Among those arrested, a truck driver, 2 engineers, and multiple factory workers. They all face serious charges, including trafficking a person for sexual servitude. Officials say so far this year there have been more than 38,000 child exploitation cyber tips received in the state of Georgia, and investigators say stings like this are important to be proactive instead of reactive to protect children in our communities. Take a listen to what the investigators in charge had to say.
This type of crime occurs across the entire country, but we're going to be proactive on doing everything we can to protect our children. It's a problem everywhere, but we want to be proactive. We don't want these kids to become victims. That's why we're taking this approach to get them before they attack our children.
We're trying to identify those individuals who are willing to communicate with a child and willing to set up some kind of sex act with that child for the purpose of sexually abusing that child, to actually hands-on touch those children. These aren't just pictures. These aren't just things that exist in the deep, dark web of the internet. These are folks in our community that have the willingness to do something like this to a child.
And the sheriff of Whitfield County says he will continue to go after predators and that this will not be a safe place for them to operate as they continue to try to protect kids, not only in this community, but throughout North Georgia. We are live in Whitfield County this afternoon. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Appreciate that, Tyler. Thank you. The suspect in a double homicide in DeKalb County is now in police custody. Police wanted this man, Stephen Mathis, in connection with 2 shooting deaths. Police found siblings dead inside their Decatur area apartment. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us live at the scene with more. Deidre, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alex, and we are still working to develop information in this very sad and disturbing case, but the good news in all of this is that DeKalb police did announce early this morning that they had located a suspect in this case, finding him in Henry County. He is now, we are told, in the DeKalb County Jail. Now, this all unfolded here at this apartment complex at around 7:45 last night. We are told that DeKalb police are responding here to the East Perimeter Point Apartments on the 2600 block of Treecrest Parkway for a reported shooting. Found 2 victims, a man and a woman, here at the complex. Both had been shot. They succumbed to their injuries. Now, early this morning, as we said, DeKalb police issuing an update saying that the suspect they had been looking for in connection to the shooting, identified as Stephen Mathis, had been located and is now behind bars in the DeKalb County Jail. We talked to residents here. This is a very large apartment complex, so many of those we spoke with said that they had not heard about what happened, that they did not hear any gunfire last night or see the police activity. They either woke up to news that this had happened here at their complex, the double shooting, or found out about it, frankly, by talking to us today. Here's what they had to say.
I had to bring my daughter up here at 6:30 in the morning to catch the bus, and not knowing like what was really going on, it was concerning.
And it's just so crazy. We never even, at least since I've been here, we've never even had anything like that happen over here, to be honest. So it's actually very, very shocking.
Very, very shocking to all those we spoke to here today. We are told that those who were killed in this shooting are siblings, a brother and sister. We're working to find out more about them. We'll have an update for you tonight, and that's the latest here in DeKalb County. Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
We appreciate that update, Deidre. Thank you. Very sad news, though. Weather-wise, we want to turn your attention to what things look like right now with a live look outside at Sandy Springs. You can see it is a bit gray out there, hinting at that very small chance we have for local rain. But Jonathan, I remember you were telling me that you were keeping your eyes on the tropics.
We are, where we have our latest tropical storm of the season that has formed within the past hour. That 11 o'clock advisory coming out just about an hour and 10 minutes ago. We now have Tropical Storm Jerry that has formed about 1,000 miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles. Let's turn to Fox 5 Live Opera Radar, where you can see that storm right now, kicking out winds of some 40 miles an hour, making it safely a tropical storm. We'll be watching that storm as it creeps to the east, and there could be potential impacts to U.S. territories before it's all said and done. But as Alex was just pointing out, the clouds continue to hang low into the midday period, and for a couple communities, especially as you near the Floyd-Bartow County line, you have a couple showers, some of those even reaching I-75. Those are the only drops that are falling from the sky across North Georgia at this moment, despite how it looks outside. Temperatures are climbing through the 70s at this hour, 75 in LaGrange, 73 in Thomaston, almost 80 degrees in Eaton. Meanwhile, you're at 72 from Blairsville to Gainesville to Canton, 75 here in Atlanta. Temperatures will likely reach highs around 83 degrees before the day's all said and done. Warmer than yesterday and warmer than we should be for this time of the year. We're going to try to bring back the 80s for one more day tomorrow, but tomorrow we'll be bringing them back with some rain. In terms of your rain chances for today, they're fairly low. Mostly cloudy skies will hopefully turn into partly cloudy skies, but the big story is about what comes tomorrow. I'm tracking how much rain you could get in your neighborhood. That's in my complete Fox 5 Storm Team forecast. Alex?
I want to know the answer, Jonathan. Thank you. Well, the Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council wants more time to find a prosecutor to take over the Fulton County election interference case. Fox 5's Caitlin Pratt is outside the Fulton County Courthouse with the very latest developments.
The election interference case has been in limbo for quite some time, but now stands the chance of being dismissed altogether if a new prosecutor can't be found, and quickly. The clock is ticking. The Fulton County election interference case against President Donald Trump and others could be dropped unless a state agency gets an extension. Friday, Judge Scott McAfee gave the Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council 14 days to find a new attorney to take the case, or else he would dismiss it. The council said in a court filing in response, it needs at least 90 days since their office has yet to receive the physical case file, and because of its size, won't for about 4 weeks. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis used the state